Welcome to another episode of Wednesday here on ChronosSpeakeasy.com. As always, I'm your host, Paul, joined with Angela.
Hello.
Jay.
Hey!
Chandler.
Hi.
And Domino.
And a very, very sleepy Domino. But she's awake now, so never
sorry,
mind.
I woke her up because I said her name.
So
we got Sun in the background, too.
We do.
Yeah,
but she's not in the episode, only Domino is.
I need a dog. I have an imaginary dog.
His name is
Just 'cause
Baxter.
you have a comic book name for your dog and I have an anime name for my dog. Not
I have like
fair.
an English literature name for my dog.
This is Damien. No, this is Dorian. Damien Dorian.
Damien Dorian. Please, Chandler.
Damien Dorian Robinson Caruso. The third.
That has to be the name
Imagine
of your
that dog
future
being
dog.
a pug.
Damien Dorian Robinson Caruso the third.
So gross, but I
That dog
love
would be
it.
a pug, right?
Based on my favorite book
Yes,
by
has to
Alexander
be.
Dumas. So yeah, welcome to part 2 of our Thanos review for the upcoming, what I can only imagine will be a blockbuster hit, The Avengers Infinity War Part 1A. Yeah, so last time, previously on Chrono Speakeasy, or no, wait, this is Wednesday. Previously on Wednesday, we talked about the first appearance of Thanos and Iron Man. We're now jumping into the Infinity Gauntlet, which is a fan favorite. Some would say it's the Moby Dick of Marvel comic books. No one says that.
No one says that.
But it's beloved. I can't believe this was written in 1991.
Yeah, it feels earlier.
I thought
Well, yeah, because this guy's fucking writing style is stuck in 1963.
Oh, burn.
Roasted.
Yeah, you're going to need one of the Infinity Gems to treat that burn. I don't know which one. Maybe power. Okay, moving on.
I'm just saying that I'm just thinking it's the same year I was
Speculation
born.
wormhole.
Yeah. So I was just going to do a brief little bridge or recap between
91. Jesus.
Yeah,
Christ.
1991.
1 years old. 1 year old.
Wow. I think I was 6. But anyway,
That's the year I was born.
0 born. So maybe J is the soul gem.
Oh!
Oh, my God. I'm going
I
to
support
Photoshop
this.
Jay's face into one of the gauntlet gems.
Please.
But this puts a
Yes,
smile.
that face.
Yeah. Or better yet, when Thanos says, but this puts a smile on my face, and it's just Jay's face on the gauntlet
It's just
smiling.
me like,
Yeah. But yeah, so just a quick recap, because when you start reading Infinity Gauntlet, some things may not make sense because a lot has happened before the Infinity Gauntlet started. So Thanos, in the pages of Captain Marvel, previously acquired the Cosmic Cube. For those who don't know, if you watch Captain America and Avengers, it's that Cosmic Cube, which is not an Infinity Gem in the comics. He absorbs most of it to become godlike. And then Captain Marvel figures out, oh, wait, there's still a bit of juice pumping out from the gauntlet. So
Sorry,
Captain
Domino's
Marvel...
snoring. Sorry.
God, did we learn nothing from last week?
I'm sorry.
God, where's my fucking notebook to
happened last
throw
week?
over my shoulder in a huff?
She was snoring, and I just want to give the audience reason to know, if you hear something weird in the background, it's because Domino's snoring, because she's a part of this episode, you guys. She's here.
it's your
Include her.
contribution. I can't hear it.
Well, she stopped because Paul got mad.
Guess Paul got interrupted. It's even the title of my memoir. It's like Girl Interrupted, but, present day. And no women in it. So it's just Paul Interrupted. So yeah, so Captain Marvel destroys the Infinity Gauntlet. No, he destroys the Cosmic Cube. And he's like floating in space for a while, but he gets back corporeal form like you do after someone crushes your power source to become godlike. And then for a period of time, Thanos and Adam Warlock team up because at some point Adam Warlock becomes Magus, and which is like the dark future version. It's like Terminator. He goes back in time. He starts a church. He kills a bunch of planets that don't want to be a part of the church. One of which being a planet that belonged to Gamora. And while Thanos builds a time machine, went to the moment her planet was destroyed, found her, adopted her, raised her to be a weapon to kill the future Adam Warlock. So that's how Gamora plays into the whole familial Thanos family tree thing. Yeah. And so eventually Adam Warlock dies. His soul goes into the soul gem, which used to be located in his forehead. But then he comes back, turns Thanos into stone, and where Stone cries. One thing I've noticed a lot in reading some Thanos comics, Thanos cries a lot. There's always like a shot of him with a single tear.
He's a sensitive boy.
He is. I think he's misunderstood.
Boys can be emotional too.
So then eventually Death brings Thanos back because she's like, oh, he ain't that bad. And she feels like she's not getting her numbers because people are living too long. She's like, I want you to thin out the herd. And Thanos is like, oh, here's my second chance. I'm gonna win her back, and it's like every like 80s rom-com.
That was like really corporate. It's like you meet a quota.
Yeah. So then he's like, hey, listen, I know you brought me back and you gave me these sweet powers, but I looked into your infinity pool and not only did I see a sweet reflection of myself, but in the reflection, I saw myself holding the infinity gauntlet with all the infinity stones. So I think you should let me go and collect those and I'll be even more powerful. And so that's why in certain parts in the infinity gauntlet, when he's all like, Death, why are you mad? Is it because I went behind your back and got those gems and you told me not to? But I did it for you, girl. Did it for you. So I thought I'd bring her up to speed on the Infinity Gauntlet, written by Jim Starlin, comic favorite George Perez, involved with that famous Avengers run, also in the 90s. And you also have Mr. Lim, who came in a few issues at the end, because apparently Perez didn't like where the story was going, and he dropped off the project. So I'm going to shut up now and let you guys share your thoughts and feelings about the Infinity Gauntlet. Okay, well, that was great. If you can find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook.
I didn't know where to jump on. There's a lot to talk about.
There is a lot to talk about.
First.
So we'll start.
My first thought was how different Gamora and Drax are, aesthetically and everything like that, and how drastically Drax changed from that issue that we covered last week to this one currently.
He's very dim-witted.
He's very dim.
He's way buffer and way dumber.
He went from having telepathic powers to being just Solomon Grundy. It was really weird. It was really weird.
Drax Destroyer, born on a...
I don't have a day. Yeah. So, that's weird.
Yeah.
Right?
You know what? One thing...
He's a way buffer boy.
He is, he is way buff. One that did caught my eye, because this is very early on, the fourth page, or fifth page rather, we cut to Doctor Strange and Wong, right? And Doctor Strange, he's just hanging out, drinking his tea, reading his book, and not Thanos, I'm sorry, Silver Surfer comes crashing through the ceiling, oh, he's coming, oh my god. That reminded me of the scene in the trailer where it's Hulk falling through the roof.
Hulk falls through the roof.
So I wonder if they sort of took that bit in the beginning of the movie, and then rather it being Silver Surfer, it's the Hulk who is falling from space, I'm assuming, after Thanos attacks Thor.
I didn't even think of that.
Right?
I think there's going to be a lot of homages, or I don't know if that's the right word. Right, a lot of
dick sucking
plays to the Gauntlet in the new movie.
Sorry, Jay, what was that?
For some reason, all of me wants Captain America to give the same little speech when Thanos is crushing him in the trailer. To give the same speech after he gets hit or whatever.
I hope so, because
as long as one person stands up.
Mm-hmm. I really hope that's in there, because not only is that one of my favorite moments in the Infinity Gauntlet story, it's one of my favorite Captain America moments. So I got excited when I saw, just as you did, Jay, when he's, pushing back Thanos by the gauntlet, that there might be some sort of exchange that would be similar to that. It'd be really cool.
Yeah, so when...
And, if he punches through the, Cap's little new shield, that'd be dope.
Well, so okay, I do want to talk about when there's the Thanos rapture, and
Oh, that was great.
yeah, Thanos rapture. He like snaps his fingers because he has the Infinity Stones, he has the gauntlet. It's done. So he snaps his fingers and he does like a rapture, and it takes like half of the universe, and immediately Hawkeye and Cersei are gone. And then you get a nice
Of Game of Thrones.
of Cersei Lannister of Game of Thrones, and Hulk is
Finally.
Hulk is in a bar with like his fucking shirt open.
The deepest V
The deepest
you've ever seen.
It goes like, I'm pretty sure, because it's tucked into his pants.
It goes down to his ankles.
I'm sure it's like buttoned right under his ball sack. Like that's how I'm pretty sure
That's when Hulk was
And
smart.
I support that fashion choice.
Yes,
And he looks like a UPS driver.
he does. It's the brown suit.
But him and Drax
What
match
can Brown
so
do for
well.
you?
They are both wearing a lot of brown. And then you get kind of like a readout of who's still around and who isn't. And it's like they have it like on the computer screen, and so like and it's that's what I'm looking for actually right now. I'm trying to find here we go. Like who's still here and who isn't. I mean, Thor's still around, Namor, ugh. I hate that guy. Yeah, I'm not finding it. So come back to me. Come back to me.
I'll find it for you.
Oh, thanks.
So one of the things I like from the Rapture is that it immediately like triggered people to think that their bigger nemesis was kind of at play for it.
I did like that.
Like the Skrulls were just like, "Yep, it was the Kree. Those pieces of shit. Let's go get them right now."
Yeah, and the
No
Kree's
basis.
like, it was the fucking Skrulls.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then like Hulk named someone, didn't he?
Abomination.
Abomination.
He's like, it
Yeah.
had to be that fucking fuckface.
So like, I thought that was pretty neat because it was just like we have no idea what's going on. Everyone has no idea. It's got to be the work of like this dickhead.
Right. Yeah. It's like
Which pits the universe against themselves, which would knock even more of them out.
yeah.
Because while they're having their great cosmic battle, whatever, I'm sure the Skrulls, I keep wanting to say skulls, Skrulls and the Kree are probably going at it, just like, fuck you, no, fuck you.
Yeah, basically.
Fuck you and your blue assholes.
Well, fuck you and your green
Puckered
assholes.
Blue fuckered assholes.
Yeah, I did like that, and that's something that Thanos I know would definitely want, because he's sort of big on keeping things close to the chest and having one plan, sort of just being covering a larger scheme. Like even before Captain Marvel destroys the Cosmic Cube, he has all of his malcontents that he gathers from that Iron Man issue, and he sends them all to Earth. And the Avengers like, oh yeah, we did it, we won. And Thanos is like, I don't give a shit, like, because I have the power of a god now. Why would I send an armada at you when I get to destroy you with your fingertips? So he's just doing it just, because he's good at just kind of throwing people off. Because that's what he'd do. Okay. It's okay.
I'm like having a meltdown.
It's page 60.
I know, we don't have page numbers in our book.
Oh, no?
I
so
know.
We
So
actually
it's
don't have
pretty early.
pages. We're actually
I was like, I saw it and I was like,
Oh, you guys have the hardcover?
yeah.
yeah. But anyway,
you fancy.
but okay, so there's a couple things that I can talk about apart from who is and isn't around. And
You want me to, like, name them off?
yeah, do it.
Okay,
Well, all of
Archangel,
All of the
Archangel,
sorry.
Beast, Black Cat, Black Panther, Box, which I don't know that guy, Dagger, Daredevil, Diamond, Lil, Firestar, Guardian, Hawkeye, Hercules, Human Torch, Iceman, Invisible Woman, Makari,
Mhm.
Marvel Boy, Marvel Girl, Mr. Fantastic,
There it is. I see
Night
him.
Thrasher, North Star, Power Man, Puck, Quicksilver, Sasquatch, Cersei, Shaman, Thing, Usagent, I can't say that.
U.S.
Agent.
agent.
Vindicator. Yeah, sure. Wasp and Windshear.
It's all in alphabetical order. Oh my god.
It is. It's all in
Yeah, they're
alphabetical
nice
order.
like that.
So like so all of the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Oh my
All
God,
of the
it is.
Fantastic.
That's not half. They lied.
All of them. It's like they just got rid of like so many really well-known characters. I mean, yeah, not Thor is cool because it's not like really Thor, it's some guy, but who has the power of Thor. But then, like, there's a lot of sitting around, people talking about what's happening, not actually doing anything. And then I love how Odin summons all these, like, he's like, let's get all, like, the Sky Father gods together. And they're, like, so fucking random. They got, like, they have an Aztec deity, a Mayan god. Oh, Osiris is there. The Celtic god Nuada. They have, and they didn't even say, like, a Native American like god. It was an American Indian spirit.
Nice.
Well, my favorite was Gaseous Eruptus, which is like the god of farts.
And then they have like Zeus is there, but that's about it. Like Zeus and Osiris are like and Odin are like the heavy hitters, but everybody else is like, who else? What else is there, guys?
Jesus. No, Frank, we're not putting Jesus in the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah, so they're all there, and they're like, okay, guys, we got to do something. And then, like, the Rainbow Bridge is broken, so they all, like, got together, and then they can't leave. So they're just sitting there.
It's like a bunch of dads, like, locked in the fucking minivan, like, oh, where are the keys? Oh, man.
Yeah, they're like, he's like, let our foe beware. We are with you, brother Odin. The Sky Fathers stand as one. And then it's like, we ain't going nowhere.
Oh, yeah, just like our music career. It's not going anywhere.
I don't know why, but I want to point out that on the very next page, at the very last panel,
Alf.
that little elf dude is eating Ripple's extra oil potato chips and just smoking and drinking.
Yep.
There's
Just
a
chilling,
lot of
waiting
that.
for like things to.
There's a lot of cigar smoking. Like Nick Fury is sitting in like a spaceship orbiting Earth, and he's just like, he just looks like, I don't even fucking know.
But oh, sorry.
No. He's just chilling, and he's got like a cigar, and like it's like the president's calling. He wants to know what's happening. He's like, I know what's happening, but I don't know what's happening. I'll get back to you.
Yeah, there's a lot of scenes in there that just sort of felt like, well, you know, we should have everyone in it so the readers can know what everyone is doing at this big traumatic moment. But there's some characters in there who are so pointless or wasted, like Pip, the troll. I don't understand why he's in this, why he and Gamora had to come back from the dead. Like, Gamora doesn't show up until the end. She shows up. Oh, I'm turning green again.
Yeah, because
then
they
disappears.
take the bodies of like dead people who died in a car accident. Like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, and then but then you don't see Gamora until the end. I mean, she's basically just there to be like, "Good job, Adam Warlock. Do you like my fishnet bodysuit? I knew you would."
I mean, I like it.
I mean, I do too, but I like to see her use it when fighting people.
Yeah, but
Nah.
No?
You see those shoulder pads or that little like thing around her neck, that fur?
She could make her
Pretty
work.
solid.
I mean, she could make those bad guys sashay away.
I would love to talk about the awesome deaths that people had.
These deaths, I think, is what makes the Infinity Gauntlet stand out, because they're pretty intense and horrific and almost like, Game of Thrones level. Yeah,
Namor and She-Hulk basically get covered in this weird, like, I want to call it like algae, but it's like space algae, and they're just suffocated.
Yeah.
And encased, and they die. What else do we got? So we got
Cyclops.
Cyclops gets a box over the head and he suffocates to death. Iron Man gets his head ripped off
by the sex doll that, you know, Thanos creates. We'll get to that later.
Yeah, there's some pretty brutal deaths happening.
Dude, like, and what he does to
Rips
Wolverine.
Out Vision's heart.
Wolverine, yeah, he just like changes his bones to like noodles.
Yeah,
the rubber.
Well, let's not forget Spider-Man.
And he's just like kind of on the ground.
Yep, and then Spider-Man beaten to death with a rock.
Oh yeah, Spider-Man was beaten to death with a rock, and then Scarlet Witch was just like disintegrated.
Yeah,
with the Power Stone, and there's just some brutal deaths.
Honestly, I had no idea what happened to the Hulk.
Well, he gets sent
Like
back
he
in
was just like
time.
not there anymore.
He gets sent back in time.
All of Vision's wires are like ripped out of his chest. That was pretty
Well, I also love though when Cap pushes Thanos into Cloak's cloak.
Yes.
And he's like, yeah, we did it. Yeah, Cloak, how you feeling, buddy? Can you hold him? And it just looks like he's trying to, like, not to shit his pants. Like, you know the look you have when you're running to the toilet? Like, oh my God, I might not make it. Mm-hmm. And that's totally the look that he has before Thanos just comes bursting out of the
Thor
cloak.
makes it. I thought he was going to just, like, suffocate. But no, he makes it. And, Drax gets sent back in time.
Also, you know, one thing I like.
Yeah, there she is
Thor gets
playing with
shattered.
Iron Man's head. Yeah, Thor. Yeah. Oh God.
I just want to say that, like, all of these plans that everybody makes, whether it be the Infinity Gauntlet or Iron Man 55, everyone kind of sucks at what they do. Like, oh, Kronos, will create Drax the Destroyer to destroy Thanos, and he can't do it. And then, the Fates will choose a champion, Adam Warlock, to be, you know, the one that defeats Thanos. And, like, and then Adam Warlock shows up. He's like, all right, everyone, listen to me. I know what I'm doing. I lived in a soul gem, so clearly I'm an expert. I don't know why I'm talking like this. He sounds like a door-to-door salesman for the 60s. Anyway, besides the point, he's like, yeah, follow me, I know what to do. And his plan goes to shit.
He didn't know what to do at all. Like, the whole time he's like, I totally got this down. I totally, like, know what I'm doing. And it's like, no, you don't. You just got people killed for no reason.
But here's the thing I find interesting as far as from a narrative standpoint for the Infinity Gauntlet. The main objective is for Thanos to do the job that Death resurrected him for. Back in the Jim Starlin, Silver Surfer, and the Thanos quest. So once he assembles all of these gems together, it's interesting how quickly he like doesn't do it, and he just sort of spends so much time moping around about why doesn't Death love me, and also where did Mephisto come from? He's like his like advisor, and all I could think of, or all I could hear when I read it was Littlefinger. Mm-hmm. That's what I imagined doing the voice.
I was thinking Starscream.
Yeah, they're like, Shanza, like, I mean Death. And he's like, well, hey, maybe if you fucking did the thing that you said you were going to do, maybe that might make Death happy. And even then, Death is like...
Death's like, you fucking tool.
And in a way, he is.
He is. But, no, and then the not Captain Marvel, Quasar, I guess he's Quasar now, and he comes with, like, the bracelets, and Thanos just, like, takes off his hands. He just fries them.
I love not again.
Yeah, and then disintegrated.
They super casually background killed Spider-Man. They just have him being beaten with a rock in the background.
Yep, that's how a lot of them. Like that's how Iron Man's head got ripped off. Was just like kind of in the background. Nova
got turned into a bunch of like little squares.
Yeah, that was weird. So let's talk about then. So everybody dies, and then the astral. Conflagration. Who can't?
But right before that, though, actually, the whole point of them dying was to give Silver Surfer that opportunity to try and snatch the gauntlet off,
and he didn't.
When he was
which
like
is
not
a weird
paying
plan.
attention.
Like they're like, like we're gonna have everyone die, and you grab the gauntlet.
And Cap's just backhanded to like a vial.
So, at the same time, it makes sense to me because like he's giving them the chance to fight, and then. As soon as it was just like, oh shit, I almost just fucked up. Like, they almost had him.
Yeah.
And he immediately went back to, no, I'll just go back to being a full-on god again.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this whole, like, galactic battle... Oh, Jesus. It's just... I mean, where do they get these people? I mean, this is like, these are supposed to be these like galactic beings that are above like all things. Like, and it's just the weirdest lineup because you have like love and hate. You have Galactus. You got order and chaos, which are both just like disembodied heads. Like the design for these guys, holy shit.
Hold on, we got a guy with a sweet mustache though.
Oh, the stranger.
The stranger.
Sure.
And then you got.
I don't like that his name is the stranger with that mustache.
And then you
That's
got.
weird.
Yeah, that is weird. And then you got 2 Celestials, and then you and Kronos is there, and yeah. So that's who's there to fight him, and they all kind of suck and fail, as they do. And the Watcher's just like, I'm not getting involved. I'm just gonna watch. And then, but Death does something on the side. She hangs on to Gamora. So Gamora at this point is just like a zombie, like a brain dead zombie. And she's just like,
Nebula.
I'm sorry, Nebula is a brain dead zombie. And she's just hanging out and in a lot of pain. And then his brother Eros,
Yeah.
who's fucking useless. Why is he here? I don't care.
He's just an observer. I mean, Thanos wants an audience. And that's sort of, I was kind of
he tortured them for a while.
Yeah.
Oh, that was really weird. They had those weird, like, roots coming out of them, and they had, like, teeth and eyes, and it was really weird. And
And there's all these like fuck. It's just so like the whole thing is just ridiculous. So then Eternity shows up finally, and he's like, "All right, let's do this." And they're fighting, and Eternity bites it. Well, he doesn't bite it. They're all captured in his like, I don't know, bubble, his space bubble. And then Nebula fucking snatches the gauntlet. And she doesn't know what the fuck she's doing.
Nope,
Yeah.
not at all.
But
Also, Mephisto tried to grab it too.
yeah, Mephisto tried to grab it. So Nebula's got it, but she is like she's got enough going on where she can kind of like fight off Thanos, which is cool, but then now Thanos has to team up with everybody to stop her. And it's like, oh, come on, you guys. This is just a poorly written shoujo. It's just so bad. Not shoujo, I'm sorry, shonen. A poorly written shonen. It's like so bad.
He's like, don't insult
If this was a
shoujo.
shoujo, it'd be so different.
It would be readable. I'm sorry.
Be a lot
I
more
thought this was
friendship.
readable.
I didn't like this. I really didn't like this. So yeah, so they all team up to stop her. I don't know. Thanos is in like an igloo thing. And then she was like, "Oh, I want everything to go back to normal." And then it does. And then somehow Adam Warlock gets the fucking Infinity Gauntlet back, sets everybody free, and now he's the ultimate being of the universe. And Thanos becomes a farmer. It's just
I love how you just did like a summary of the entire book.
yes, because that's it. It's like, oh god.
At least from where we were. But
Yeah.
like, I don't know. It made sense because I like how Adam Warlock was just straight up like, "No, Thanos, you keep fucking up because like you don't want to succeed subconsciously."
I did think that was interesting. I was like, dude, you don't like. Do you think on some level deep down, like you just don't think you're worthy of this?
Right.
And he's like, I
Like he became
I'll
a
help
god
you.
3 times or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Which I feel like is an interesting, I don't know, way of saying how can this guy who's all powerful be beaten every time? Because deep down, he doesn't want to be.
Well, and I could
Even
so
as a farmer, he looks smug.
he's a smart fuck.
Well, yeah, he's like, I grow the best corn you ever tasted. It's the fastest corn. It's the biggest corn. Ask everybody; they'll tell you.
I think
Man,
at the time,
I really wish that like when they found him, he just went, "Ah, shucks."
Oh, shucks.
Found me.
Just a humble farmer.
so it's moments like these that I'm really, really happy and excited to see like what the films are going to do with this and how they haven't really been the MCU isn't like canon to like, you know, the actual comics. And I'm really grateful for that because a lot of this story was written in 91 or it came out in 91. And this is like the same time as like Sandman. Like Sandman was already going at this point. So I could see kids like being like 10, 11, 12 picking up something like Infinity Gauntlet and being like, holy shit, this is amazing, because they're also too young for like something like Sandman. There are other stories being told that were just vastly better written. And I'm just not a fan of this guy's writing at all. And if you read his like Starlin's kind of back and forth that he's got going with Marvel, it's pretty comedic and childish, like the whole way through. That's my personal opinion.
I think in a lot of ways Thanos, or I should say Jim Starlin is Thanos and Death is Marvel. He just keeps trying to win Marvel over. It doesn't work out, and he's like, fine, fuck it, I quit. And Marvel's like, no, come back. And he comes back. Doesn't work out. He quits again.
Yeah, like, because he...
Abusive relationship.
Yeah, I guess for him, I don't know. It's like really, it's just really weird. Like, because he's just like, I'm done. I'm not going to work with Marvel ever again. And they're like, hey, you want to work on this title? He's like, yes. And then he does it. And then he gets some pushback because I'm sure there's some like kid on there just being like, this kind of sucks. And he's like, I'm a God. And then he's like, I quit. And then he leaves
I don't need
again.
you.
And then he quit. He's like, I don't want to be treated like this. Like, and then Marvel's like, hey, why don't you come back and write this? He's like, okay. And then there's that other kid again, just being like, oh God, this guy. Because it isn't. I mean, the writing, the dialogue, I feel like they were just making it up as they go. And it sucks because he's talking about, like, when you read about how he like created these characters and came up with these ideas for this story, like there was more planning in this process than I can see in the actual writing. So I'm just like, oh God.
Well, like I was saying earlier, George Perez, was supposed to illustrate all 6 of these, and he bowed out after like the 4th issue because he didn't like where the story was going. Now, whether that be because he didn't like where Starlin was taking it, or maybe didn't like where Marvel executives were taking it, because I feel like when an illustrator comes on for a story, especially a limited series, you know the outcome. Like, why would you start something that you didn't like the ending of?
Yeah, I'm sure they just, because it's all over the place.
It is definitely all over the place, and that's why I try to read a bunch of the comics leading up to this, and it still feels like it's all over the place. I still like it, but all the reasons why. Like, I like the comics of the 60s. Like,
you remember the last episode we recorded, and I was talking about in Iron Man 55, how I was just like, God, it was painful to like get through those issues, or those earlier issues of Thanos, and then I go to the different writer that was working on Daredevil, and it's like, oh, okay, normal people.
Yeah.
Like, the normal
those were your exact words.
I was like, oh, great, normal people. It's like, oh, because he's like stuck in like this would be acceptable in 1963, but in 1991, like, Spider-Man has a fucking mullet. You got to step up.
Yeah.
He had a fucking mullet.
Well, at least the talk fighting wasn't as bad. It wasn't like...
Yeah.
I don't know. I think, as I said earlier, I think this will always have a special place in my heart because of that Captain America moment.
Yes.
I had fun reading this.
Well, that's good.
I
didn't mean that sarcastically. I didn't. I'm glad somebody, because I was like, I don't get it.
Well, like, it's been a long time since I've read it, so rereading it was just pretty neat for the most part. There are certain things that don't make sense to me, like why they really have Doom with them.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Why is he even there?
Like, they know that he's going to betray them, or try to betray them.
Every fucking
time. At any moment he can.
There's so many people who are like, oh, Doom, stop. You're not going to get it.
Especially at the end where it's just like, they're working together. It's just like, no, get out of the room. So, like, I find parts like that comedic and dumb shit like that.
Yeah.
And then, like, I don't know. I don't know not all these characters overly well. So, like, it's making me rethink how certain things might play out in the movies themselves. Like, they introduced the idea of Adam at the end of Guardians 2.
Mm-hmm.
So they might have him play a factor in the movie itself. Like, have him show up at the end and be like, boo, I got a plan, guys.
I'm hoping that with everything that's happening in the movie, there aren't new factors being thrown in. At least If it sets up, then Avengers
There's
4.
so much happening that, like, I think this is just kind of it will be like kind of a setup for Avengers Thor, but Avengers Thor. Whoa.
It could be Avengers Thor.
Right. But this is also like, the Russo brothers, who are actually like really good filmmakers. So I'm not worried about it. If Starlin was like, I'm going to direct this, then I'd be
write
like,
it and star in it.
No.
Shut it down.
One thing I will say that
What's his name? Happy?
Happy Hogan?
Yeah. Imagine him getting the gauntlet.
That'd be hilarious.
It's like, finally, I get some respect around here.
That'd be a great Marvel one-shot.
What if movie series?
Yeah. But no, one of the things that I thought was very interesting in terms of the layout of the comic book, it's actually one of my favorite pages for two reasons. One, I love when he makes, what's her name? Like, Taraxia?
Oh, his
which sounds
version
like a fucking illness.
It sounds actually like a...
Or like
Pokemon.
Taraxia. Hi,
Yeah.
I'm Jamie Lee Curtis. But
Taraxia sounds like it would be a pill that makes you worse than what you already were.
Yeah.
Like, try a new Taraxia.
Right.
It may cause diarrhea, nausea, inflammation
Blindness.
above the eyeballs.
Yeah, sudden death.
You'll die in 3 weeks if you keep taking Taraxia under the conditions of not advising a doctor.
Bloating in one of your toes.
Yeah. But
Now you make it awkward.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Well, keep it real.
That's Taraxia.
That's Taraxia.
I just love when he creates her though, and he's like kind of like showing her off to death, and he's like, her touch is warm and devotion to me is total. She is the balm to soothe the ache within my heart. I no longer have any need of you. And she's just like, all right, whatever. And she walks
Cool story,
off.
bro.
Yeah, and I love how like Taraxia is just like adoring Thanos, and I love the the further she walks away, the closer we get to like Thanos's face. Just like watching her leave, like I love you. I just thought that was great. And then right below that, you have this god awful floating fucking monument that he created for death. But then right below that panel, you have the Avengers. I don't know what the hell this is. It's not the manor. It's like a headquarters. But I just
It's an ugly building.
But I love the parallel, though, of like the monument that he made to death and this Avengers-like monument.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was trying to think of what this visual might be trying to say. If there's some sort of a similarity between the Avengers and Thanos, like maybe the idea of courting death or trying to court justice, if they're just both as elusive. It's just like this kind of this abstract idea that is giving them motivation. I don't know. I think something has to be said.
That's really interesting. Yeah, I mean, the in terms of like, the art, that's actually really, really interesting. I was just thinking that if they did have somebody play like if death, the embodiment of death, I mean, based off of the way this comic is, I mean, it would have to be Aubrey Plaza, just like silent judging
God.
you. Like,
I would love.
She's just like,
Yeah, that'd be pretty great.
Yeah,
that's
I can
it. Just not
completely
saying
agree with that.
anything, just staring at him.
yeah. If you've seen her in Parks and Rec, I mean, that would be perfect. And also, I think she's one of the best parts of Legion, the that Fox show.
Mm.
I haven't seen it.
Oh man, you gotta watch it. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
It is good stuff. So, yeah, I'd be very curious to see what cues the Russo brothers take from this. Like I said, I think it's not a coincidence that Silver Surfer crashing into the the Sanctum Sanctorum,
Yeah.
being similar to the Hulk smashing through it. I don't doubt that's a coincidence, and I think it's interesting that you have a scene with Star-Lord, Iron Man, and Drax. I feel like part of that is sort of like an homage to that Iron Man issue 55.
Yeah.
Them being together on Titan. So I think there would definitely be little cues in there. And also just having the shot of Thanos holding the cosmic cube that he gets from Loki. I feel like that's like a nod to the whole Captain Marvel stuff where Thanos wanted the cube. So I'm excited to see other cues, both visual and from a narrative perspective, what they'll apply to the Infinity Gauntlet movie.
Chandler, what do you think?
In terms of like structure of like the event, it feels like this is kind of like the template that every other future Marvel event was based off of. So I can see a lot of like similarities where you have like, oh, this is happening in my neck of the woods. And like then like at the end, like the giant like culmination, which is like not very satisfying.
Yeah.
It just feels the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just, especially everything going back to normal. Like, the universe is back. I mean, that's sort of like the cons of having these all powerful MacGuffins.
Right.
I get exactly what you're saying. Because it's like people being like, oh, you really need to read Bleach, and it's like, you know what? I sat through like a decade of the same 4 episodes of Dragon Ball Z. I really don't need to read Bleach. I know what happens.
True.
You know?
I'll say this: when Nebula got the gauntlet, my first thought was, "Oh, fucking come on!"
She deserves it. She was like tortured for the entire series.
No. I'm not saying it in that sense. It was more of like, why can't we just end it? Like I wanted it to be like, gotcha, and then have it just be done at that. Be like, nope, now you're banished. I'm in control.
She got it.
All set.
What I really hated about it is that she got it, and immediately they're like, oh, this woman is too inept to use its power. And I'm like, what the fuck? Fuck you. Clearly she's not that inept. If she was able to like survive all of that torture and being like just like a sliver of consciousness and a shell of just decay and misery, and she was able to hold on long enough just to be like, yoink. Clearly she's got some shit going on, but no. She is just too weak.
Get back in the kitchen.
Her natural, like,
cosmic
feminine,
kitchen.
weak being will keep her from being smart enough to be a fucking god. Fuck you.
I also wish that like she had done more with the gauntlet.
Now I'm mad.
Yeah. I wish she'd done more with the gauntlet to Thanos, because in the Silver Surfer issues leading up to this, like Nebula basically takes over the ship and she claims to be his granddaughter and all that. So when Thanos shows up, he's just like, bitch, get off of my ship, and he sets her on fire. And like that's part of the reason why she looks the way that she does. And so having read those issues leading up to this, it's like, I would like to have seen a little bit more of a comeuppance coming from...
Set his ass on fire.
Exactly.
Right.
I mean, her plan was to just make him eternally drift in space.
I think
not good enough.
Yeah, not good enough. No, I think that because that's really he fucked her up really good, and I felt like I think it would have been awesome if she was able to like take it and be great at it, but actually be like, or have her make out with Death, and Death being like, yeah, girl, and then like them getting together, the ultimate like fuck you, Thanos.
Yeah, this is like written in 2018. That totally would have happened.
Next on HBO After Dark.
Yeah, seriously.
Just get the old Photoshop dusted off and make that happen for real.
Yeah, they're just making out in front of him while he's like floating in space. Like, no.
They're just like wrapped around each other in Thanos' floating chair while he's like forced to watch. Oh, it'd be great. And then as
on
you
fire, while he's on fire.
And then as you pan out of like a monitor, and it's like on Pornhub. There's like, watch, like loser ex-boyfriend has to watch, his lesbian granddaughter make out with his ex. That could totally be like a porn clip.
I could.
And then as it keeps zooming out, it's like Peter Parker's
Too
computer.
meta.
It's Peter Parker's computer.
Or no, actually more likely.
Or Deadpool's.
It just pans
Pip
out
the
to watch the full clip here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just Pip the Troll watching with his greasy chips.
His ripple extra oily chips.
Yeah.
Smoking a cigar. Yeah, oh god, there are too many cigars in this. But no, I mean, I just, okay, I get it. Like, I know I've been super disrespectful and talking mad shit about like the writer and this comic because I can. But so I'm gonna because I can. But I do understand the importance, and like, because I wouldn't have my beloved MCU if it wasn't for this shitty fucking guy. So I get it, you know.
Well, I think, and this goes back, at least
Credit
for
where
me,
credit's due.
right? And this goes back to what I've always said, that you can make anything work in a story. Like, you know, like my prime example, Maltese Falcon, the beloved Humphrey Bogart was the third remake. So it's like, I'm glad that you have these Hollywood writers and directors and producers who can see the potential in these characters and these stories and making it fucking work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whose idea was it to put like just line font on top of black so you can't read this shit?
It was the 90s. That's who I blame.
Starlin.
90s are not bullshit. Bubble text, fuck you.
It's also holographic.
Was it?
No, just kidding.
No.
It could have been.
God, I
It
remember
was the
those
90s.
Yeah,
those covers.
And this is a
Ooh,
reprint.
Rare collector's items, holographic covers.
Oof.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nope. No. But either way,
And they wonder why, like, manga did so much better with, like, female and gay audiences. They wonder.
That?
They did. When manga first started coming out, like, people were all up in arms, being like, oh,
up in arms in Japan or in the U.S.?
in the U.S., they were just like, it's backwards and it's in black and white, and this is ruining the industry.
This is the book of the devil.
It's ruining our comic stores. Now you got these
First Pearl Harbor, now this.
got these women coming in here, and all they care about they don't want the real comics.
Oh,
I know.
God.
I ask them, hey, you know who Jim Lee is? And they don't know. They're not real.
Don't marry her.
Yeah, that's like
Jim Lee.
that bullshit. No, because I was shopping in comic book stores back then, so I remember.
I'm so sorry.
I remember how shitty that shit was. It sucked.
And
I'm like, dude, you guys, I'm fucking 8. Like, I'm here with my dad. Like, lay off. Let me just like be a kid. But
for
no.
once,
It's
in
like,
this
you're not
life-
teaching her right.
Yeah.
She needs comic books, not
they
mangoes.
were gonna talk to him because he was like black, so they were just like, oh, better not. But
All right.
Yeah, I don't know. It's funny. I mean, when you walk into these comic book stores that like are carrying these like Thanos trades, and they look like they're from the '90s and haven't moved on since.
yep,
It's like, oh,
they have
great.
carpet in
It's
the
like-
bathroom.
Ugh.
You've all
You
seen
grab
it.
like Infinity Gauntlet, and they're just like, that's what I'm talking about.
Everybody's seen that one comic book store that has carpet in the bathroom.
No,
Uh,
because I've only been to Comicopia and like New England Comics one time.
which one? It depends.
The one in Brockton. They don't have a bathroom.
They make you work for
They
it.
do have Gundam kits.
That's good. Yeah, no, it's yeah, it was such a boys' club back then.
But now it's for everyone.
Yeah.
Yay, 2018.
Things gonna change around here.
Yeah, and that's why they voted for Trump, because they can't handle
Yeah.
it.
Bring back
It'd
the
be weird if it
jobs.
like goes the old comic community votes for Trump. He gets the comic book community on his side.
Or the old dying.
You're gonna make
comic
anime
book.
real.
That's Bernie Sanders.
Oh.
Because like there were so many memes of like Bernie-san.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Wow.
That's hilarious.
It was great.
And it
I
feels,
almost was just like full Bernie just because of that.
I mean,
Yeah. Good
Yeah,
times.
so I'm glad change has
Back in
happened.
2016.
I'm glad I like now I like that, you know, women are being more seen as like actual human beings. So that's nice.
yeah.
And like black people, them getting murdered in droves is getting seen as like a no-no. So it took some time for that.
Wait, that's not okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it took some time for that. So I think 2018 is good and it's getting better. you know,
Mm-hmm.
Are you talking about
Yeah.
comic books or in general?
in general. And I think it reflects in our comic books. I think it reflects in our literature. I think comics are amazing. They're better than ever. You have so many great titles and stories and characters, and just so many people are like got their hands in there and they're like producing stuff. I mean, even the garbage is like solid.
Yeah, there's like so much like representation now, even like on like the corporate side, the business side. It's like you have like more female writers, more female staff members, and that's like trickling into the actual narratives and stuff. So I like that.
And I love too that even now, after everything that happened at Starbucks, like they're going to be closing. Was it all like a good chunk of the store someday in May for their diversity training? And if something like if something as big as Starbucks is doing that, that's a good sign.
It's great.
And hopefully,
it's great. And diversity is so great.
Yeah.
So it's awesome. We are having a party. So
Yeah.
it's good.
That being said, apart from diversity making you happy, what else is everyone reading, watching, doing this week, apart from all the Thanos stuffs?
I'm prepping for this awesome movie coming out. Can I go first?
Go for it.
So
Sure.
I've been reading, I reread High School Debut, and I loved it again. I mean, I loved it the first time through. Sorry, I yawned. And then I'm reading Everyone's Getting Married, and I'm really enjoying that. So that's a fun one. And then I saw this movie, and it came out like last year, but I fucking loved it. It's called The Little Hours. I think you can get it on Amazon. I'm not sure. But if you get a chance, it's really fucking awesome. You guys need to check this out. It like everyone's in it. Allison Brie, Aubrey Plaza, who we mentioned earlier, Molly Shannon, John C. Reilly, Nick Offerman, Fred Armisen, like it's packed with all these awesome comedians, and it basically takes place in a convent in like the early 1300s, like in medieval times. And it
Is
is
a thing that's out now?
yeah, it's out. Yeah, you can totally stream it, and it is so funny. It's called The Little Hours. It's amazing. Everybody should see this movie. It's
I'll have
fun.
to check it out. I guess I'll go now.
Yeah.
I watched Speed Racer for the first time yesterday. The 2008 movie.
It's so
Ooh.
good.
It's surprisingly good, and I don't
It's
get why
so
it has like a
good.
50% on Rotten Tomatoes. Like, I get that the animation was not great, but it was also 2008. So, like, that was when they were just beginning to do CG, which is pretty all right with me.
Yeah.
And it all the colors and the story, like, flows pretty well. It's smooth.
Right, and it's very much like the original Speed Racer cartoons in the way that the story unfolds, and it's so fun. It was just a really fun movie. I'm with you.
Yeah. And I hope everyone watches Speed Racer that listens to this. I also just started watching. They have a new Legends of the Galactic Hero anime. Like it's being completely reanimated as far as I know. A buddy of mine, I'm watching it with him, and he has said that it's like basically shot for shot so far, but just new animation. So that's pretty dope. And what else? Yeah, that's pretty much it, I think, actually.
Cool.
That's cool.
How about you, Chandler? What you been up to?
I've been actually replaying Pokemon Blue from the beginning. So that's been taking up a
Nice.
lot of my time. It's like I forgot how like grindy the games were, like in the original generations, because like I feel like I've been spoiled from later generations, because like it's a lot easier like currently, like contemporary modern Pokemon. But this is just like you can train for like 5 hours and you're still like getting your ass kicked by like everyone else. It's just like fuck.
Like, just
Other
be
than that-
confused for 20 turns.
Right. And, like it's like so many like you realize how many quality of life improvements you've like taken for granted in like the current titles compared to this one, and it's like this is like barbaric in the first generation, and
Just like, I need anything but a critical hit to hit me right now, and I'll be all set. I got this. Critical hit.
It's like Dark Souls. It's like every other move is a critical hit. It's like, what the fuck? Sorry.
Yeah.
It's really frustrating.
You're just so impassioned.
Well, it sounds like you're having fun.
Yeah, it's like Dark Souls, first generation, which is like a notoriously hard game.
Yeah.
And I'm also reading Astro City, so working through that on the Local Heroes volume, which is volume 5 in the series. It's really good. Yeah, Astro City is like the best comic that no one reads.
I know I don't read it.
You should.
There's a new Marvel phone game that I really like called Marvel Strike Force. It's a lot.
I don't know what the gameplay's like at all.
It's fun. Like, you go on these missions, and like Pokemon, you train your people. I don't know, for about 5 hours. But
more than that.
Yeah. But no, the best part, I really like the graphics of this game, and the best part is when you like beat somebody, the way they fall is hilarious. It's like they recorded a bunch of dummies falling over, and that's what they look like. And then the best is like, if you're fighting on the helicarrier, or you're near a cliff and Luke Cage punches somebody off, or the Hulk throws them off, just the way they look like rag dolls. I know that's a weird thing to say for a video game. Like, I like the way they fall, but I do. And I just think it's hilarious.
Is it like a fighting game, or is it like
No, it's very. It kind of reminds me of Final Fantasy, where you have your members all lined up. Like, so you're someone on your side punches someone, and someone on your side on the other side.
So it's a turn-based fighter.
Yeah, thank you. I know. I was like, and then this guy, and then you, and then the other guy. But yeah, that's how it works, and it's a lot of fun, and I like it. And yeah, and that's the only thing I've been doing apart from reading just like a shit ton of Thanos stuff. I'll probably be a glutton for punishment and read the sequel, the actual Infinity War, and we'll see how that goes. But in the meantime, you know where to find us: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Drop us a line, WednesdayComicPodcast@gmail.com. And tune in for our next episode, where I am very confident we'll be doing a film review of the Infinity War itself. Yeah. So excited it's coming out. And as always, enjoy your issues.